The word basic structure is not mentioned in the Constitution of India. The concept developed gradually with the interference of the judiciary from time to time to protect the basic rights of the people and the ideals and the philosophy of the Constitution. The basic structure doctrine is an Indian judicial principle most notably propounded by Justice Hansraj Khanna that the Constitution of India has certain basic features that cannot be altered or destroyed through amendments by the Parliament. Key among these features, or we can say more precisely these basic features expounded by Justice Khanna, are the fundamental rights guaranteed to the individuals by the Constitution. The doctrine thus forms the basis of a power of the Supreme Court to review and strike down the constitutional amendments and acts enacted by the Parliament which conflict with or seek to alter this basic structure of the Constitution. Though the basic features of the Constitution have not been explicitly defined by the judiciary, and the claim of any particular feature of the Constitution to be a basic feature is determined by the court in each case that comes before it. Thus, it gives extra power to court to review and strike down any constitutional amendments and act enacted by the Parliament.
The emergence of the basic structure doctrine of the Constitution was not something that happened just spontaneously, but it evolved gradually. So it started by the question that whether the fundamental rights can be amended by the Parliament under Article 368 came for consideration of the Supreme Court within a year of the Constitution coming up into force. In the Shankari Prasad case that held in 1951, the constitutional validity of the First Amendment Act of 1951, which curtailed the right to property, was challenged. The Supreme Court ruled that the power of the Parliament to amend the Constitution under Article 368 also includes the power to amend fundamental rights. The word law in Article 13 includes only ordinary laws and not the constitutional amendment acts. Therefore, the Parliament can abridge or take away any of the fundamental rights by enacting a constitutional amendment act, and such a law will not be void under Article 13. But in Golaknath case of 1967, the Supreme Court reversed its earlier stand. In that case, the constitutional validity of the 17th Amendment Act that took place in 1964, which inserted certain state acts in the 9th schedule, was challenged. The Supreme Court ruled that the fundamental rights are given a transcendental and immutable position, and hence the Parliament cannot abridge or take away any of these rights. A Constitutional Amendment Act is also a law within the meaning of Article 13 and hence would be void for violating any of the fundamental rights. The Parliament reacted to the Supreme Court's judgment in the Golaknath case of 1967 by enacting the 24th Amendment Act of 1971. This act amended the Articles 13 and the Article 368. It declared that the Parliament has the power to abridge or take away any of the fundamental rights under the Article 368, and such act will not be a law under the meaning of Article 13. However, in the case of Nanda Bharati case of 1973, the Supreme Court overruled its judgment in the Golaknath case of 1967. It upheld the validity of the 24th Amendment Act of 1971 and stated that the Parliament is empowered to abridge or take away any of the fundamental rights. But at the same time, it laid down a new doctrine of the basic structure or basic features of the Constitution. It ruled that the constituent power of Parliament under Article 368 does not enable it to alter the basic structure of the Constitution. This means that the Parliament cannot abridge or take away any of the fundamental rights that form a part of the basic structure of the Constitution. Again, the Parliament reacted to this judicially innovated doctrine of basic structure by enacting the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. So, this Constitutional Amendment Act amended the Article 368 and declared that there is no limitation on the constituent power of Parliament and no amendment can be questioned in any court on any grounds, including that of the contravention of any of the fundamental rights. However, the Supreme Court in the Minerva Mills case of 1980 invalidated this provision as it excluded judicial review, which is a basic structure of the Constitution. Applying this doctrine of basic structure with respect to Article 368, the court held that since the Constitution had conferred a limited amending power on the Parliament, the Parliament cannot, under the exercise of that limited power, enlarge that very power into an absolute power. Indeed, a limited amending power is one of the basic features of the Constitution, and therefore the limitations on that power cannot be destroyed. So, in other words, Parliament cannot, under Article 368, expand its amending power so as to acquire for itself the right to repeal or abrogate the Constitution or to destroy its basic features. And therefore, again, in the Vaman Rao case of 1981, the Supreme Court adhered to the doctrine of the basic structure and further clarified that it would apply to constitutional amendments enacted after 24 April 1973. That is also the date of the judgment in the case of Nanda Bharati case. The present position is that the Parliament under Article 368 can amend any part of the Constitution, including the fundamental rights, but without affecting the basic structure of the Constitution. However, the Supreme Court is yet to define or clarify as to what constitutes the basic structure of the Constitution, and from the various judgments, the following have emerged as basic features of the Constitution, or we can say the elements or components or ingredients of the basic structure of the Constitution, which are listed as below. Now let's understand what is the significance of the basic structure doctrine. So the basic structure doctrine is a testimony to the theory of the constitutionalism to prevent the damage to the essence of the Constitution of India by brute majority of the ruling party. Secondly, the basic structure saved the Indian democracy as it acts as a limitation of constituent power, or else unlimited power of the parliament might have turned India into a totalitarian state and not in a democratic state. Thirdly, it helps us to retain the basic tenets of our constitution so meticulously framed by the founding fathers of our Indian constitution. Fourthly, it certainly saved the Indian democracy from degenerating into authoritarian regime. Further, it strengthens our democracy by delineating a true separation of power where judiciary is independent of the other two organs, that is the legislature and the executive, and it has also given immense untold unbridled power to Supreme Court and made it the most powerful court in the world. Further, by restraining the amending power of the legislative organ of state, it provided basic rights to citizens which no organ of state can overrule. And being dynamic in nature, it is more progressive and open to changes in time, unlike the rigid nature of earlier judgments by the courts.